financial aid counselor at your institution, and download a 1040 form to estimate your tax burden. So we don't have time for question and answers, but I promise that I will stay through lunchtime. So if you have additional questions or just want to say hi, again, my name is Alexandria Cooley. Thanks for your time. Are you guys fired up? All right, that's good. Have a great day.
Good job.
That was wonderful. I personally am a newbie to AmeriCorps, so learning how the program works is lovely for me. Our next speaker is Dan Scala. He's co-founder of the Center for Excellence. He'll be speaking on discovering your wow and how to use it. So Dan, you'll come up.
Thank you. You got it up. Hi, y'all. Good morning. I'm excited to be here with you guys and gals. As you can tell, I'm a 29-year-old. You can tell that, right? I'm just trapped in the 69-year-old body. But the 29-year-old keeps wanting to get out. That's why I'm glad I'm amongst friends here. And the one other thing you may notice is I am having a bad hair day. I am excited about being able to present to y'all today or have a conversation. This is going to be a wow shop. It's not a workshop. Work is a 4-letter word. What we like to do is use 3-letter words like wow. Can y'all say wow? Wow. Can y'all say fun? Fun. All right, now we're getting there. We're getting close. We're getting close. What I want you all to do is stand up. I know I'm putting y'all sounds like WORK, but it's not really. This is fun. I want you to introduce, you can stretch, but I want you to introduce yourself to somebody, whoever's on the left side of you, introduce yourself, tell them your name, and tell them one thing about you. And the one thing I want you to tell them about you is something that you're passionate about or what juices you up. So meet the person on the left and the person on the right. Meet two people. Two people. Okay, that will do for our warm-up. Thanks a lot. Take your seats. We'll be doing more of that. I can tell already you guys love to talk. So we're going to be doing a lot of that. What we're going through today is 3 things. Oh, some logistics. Did everybody get a handout, one of these? If you don't have one, raise your hand. If you need one, someone will bring one around to you. Also, you need a green and a red card. That's what we need to make this happen today. So raise your hand if you don't have any one of these 3. If you're up front here, I'll get you one. If you're up front, you get one right here. Here you go, buddy. You want to come get them? There's one set. Thank you. And then here's another one. I think one other one, person needed one. Got to make sure everybody's got them. Okay, all right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, we'll give everybody just a minute to get one of these, but what we're going to do here is, this is going to be important. I do. Okay, take those. And hey, Martin, Back there, there's some more handouts. I think they ran out. They're in that little package. If you can stick them on the table, thank you. All right, is everybody got one, getting one? Anybody else need one? Okay. We're getting there. I have whatever you need.
Thank
what
you.
you need.
This one.
Okay. Okay, to save time, we're going to go ahead and get started. I think everybody's got one. If you don't have one of the two items, raise your hand so one of the folks walking around can get them for you. First of all, I want to thank AmeriCorps for inviting me here today. Many kudos for the reason why y'all are here, I think, is y'all are completing the end of a program. Most of y'all, are y'all completing the end of your 12-month program? If y'all raise your hand, or 11-month, you've already served. Okay, is that about right? Okay, so to me, it says a lot about an organization who's willing to take care of their people, and I think Carolyn Farmer and Megan deserve kudos from you guys for putting this on to honor y'all and to help you with your next step. So let's give them a round of applause. Now, let's get started. We're going to do three things today. First thing is, to me, each of us is a puzzle. You have at least three pieces, and that's what we're going to dive into. Actually, you'll see a little later on, you got about 24 pieces, but we're going to start with three. Keep it simple. And oh, by the way, one other sideline is I am a Toastmaster. Does anybody know what Toastmasters is? Okay. Well, in Toastmasters, you go to a meeting for an hour a week, and what they do is all their speeches are timed, 5 to 7 minutes. At the end of 5 minutes, they turn on a green light. And at the end of 6 minutes, they turn on a yellow light. I don't have a yellow card. But at the end of 7 minutes, when your time is up, they turn on a red light or hold up a red card. So if any of y'all don't like what you're hearing, just hold up a red card. I'll sit down. So we're going to talk about discovering your well. Let me just ask each of y'all, and just answer however you want to answer. How many of y'all know that y'all are awesome and amazing? Raise your hand. Okay, that's good. That's a fair start. How many think they're awesome and amazing? Okay. How many really need some work on beginning to believe that you are awesome and amazing? Okay, so we got some folks in the okay. I think I'm 69. I've been around a long time. I've been married 47 years, going on 48. I got 4 kids, 3 sons and a daughter. I think I'm pretty awesome and amazing. My wife tells me different every morning. She gives me a to-do list, and I go, yes, dear. Our oldest daughter our only daughter moved back in with us a few months ago, and now I've got yes, dear, yes, dear. So, and when the 4 kids grew up and moved out, my wife immediately went out and got 2 dogs and 2 cats. And I said, you know what you did? You replaced the kids with pets. She says, no, I did not. I said, yes, you did. And guess what? The 2 dogs and 2 cats, they're all female. So I am surrounded by females, which is okay with me because I've learned that women are pretty awesome and amazing. The guys get a lot of the press, but you women know how to get it done. Okay, yeah, give yourself a round. We're going to move on here because we've got a lot of work to do, and we've only got a few minutes to do it. Who's ever heard of Jim Collins? He's a guy, wrote a book called Good to Great. And in his book, Good to Great, he and his team looked at 1,145 companies to figure out what differentiated or separated the great companies from just the good companies. And out of those 1,145 companies, he found 11. And these 11 companies clearly stood above all the others. And they didn't do this lightly. They did a lot of research, a lot of data, crushed a lot of numbers. They found out that these companies, for a period of 10 to 20 years, had revenues and profits 3 to 5 times their nearest competitor. So they did not take this lightly. And so they asked the question, what makes a company great and not just good? And what they did was Jim created a model called the hedgehog model. And what you're seeing up here right now on the screen is his hedgehog model. And in his hedgehog model, he said there's 3 key ingredients for every company. And this just doesn't apply to companies, that applies to you and me. That's why we're doing this here. He says the first thing you need is passion. You have to be excited about what you're doing and do it with every bone in your body. So you have to love what you're doing. But it's not important just to love what you're doing. You have to be the best in the world at it. And when he says be the best in the world at it, that means you have to have a skill, a talent, or a gift that you excel at, or you're willing to share with the world. And the other piece, of course, is the economic engine, or the economic resource, and that is who gonna pay you? Everybody's got bills, right? Like with my 4 kids, I mean, I grew up in South Carolina, and at the age of 17, we were Catholic. I went to a small Catholic high school in Columbia, and I remember going to the career development person's office, who happened to be a priest, and his name was Father Tobias. And he didn't really look like a priest. He looked like a fullback for the New York Giants. He was a big guy. He was sitting across his desk from me, and he had his papers in his hand, and I was just a kid, you know. I was like an AB student, and I was president of senior class and vice president of honor society, so I had a few things going. But he's sitting there and he says, "Well, Dan, it looks like you're good in math and you're good in science, so you got to go be an engineer." So back in those days, we didn't argue with adults. We just respect whatever they said went, and yes, sir. So I went home, told my parents, and so I got an engineering school, University of South Carolina. Went to school, went through school. So going from the AB honor roll in high school and going into college, I took all the advanced calculus and all the physics classes and stuff, but I discovered 2 other classes that weren't on the agenda. One was Women 101 and Beer 201. So I kind of got off track a little bit. I learned that with the additional freedom, I can enjoy life a little more. Well, I enjoyed life a little much. I barely got out of college. I was up there begging my professors to give me an A so I could have enough GPA to graduate. But I did it, I got out. But the interesting thing is, and I think a lot of y'all may be able to relate, that our destinies or our futures are kind of set by either our parents or our teachers. We listen to what they say, we respect what they say, and at some point in our life, we have to start making the choices on our own, and that's where y'all are today. Y'all are making your own choices. And there's nothing more admirable than the choices y'all have made to be involved in a program that has such high benefit to our society. So y'all are on the leading edge, so give yourself a pat on the back. Y'all have done well, y'all are doing well, but what we got to do is figure out how to take it to the next step. So in this, discovering your wow, your passions, take out your handout and flip it over to the page that says, what are you deeply passionate about? What drives, what you can be the best in the world at, and what drives your resource engine? Look at the next page, and I want you to write down on that page your top 3 skills. What are you skilled at? What are you talented at? Are you good in math or science or analytics or data or writing or reading, or what is a skill set that you have that you really believe you're really good at? Write it down. Write down 1, write down 2, write down 3. Now to differentiate between skills and strengths, strengths are what I'm going to call soft skills. Skills are hard skills of analytics and data and left brain kind of stuff. Strengths are right brain kind of stuff like creativity, networking, getting people together, getting along with people skills, okay? So write your top 3 skills down and then write your top 3 strengths down. What you honestly believe about yourself. And you're not going to get this wrong because remember way back when you're taking tests, they said your first impression is the right impression? Well, that's true. Write down whatever comes to top of mind for you. And it's going to be right for you. So write down your top 3 skills, write down your top 3 strengths. And after you've gotten close to do that, go to the next one that says your best accomplishments. How many people think they've accomplished something in their life so far? Raise your hand if you've accomplished something. Okay. And I don't care if that is winning a Nobel Peace Prize or getting your dog to walk on a leash. Whatever it is for you, that's an accomplishment. When my daughter moved to Germany 2 years ago with her boyfriend from NC State, she left me with her dog. I didn't need no dog. But what happened was it helped me change my habits. It was good for me because I started getting up at 5:30 every morning. And my wife had her dog, and so at 6 o'clock, me and my wife got to walk dogs together. So I got to spend an extra hour a day with my wife. I also got to spend an hour getting exercise. And I wear a Fitbit right here, 10,000, 12,000 steps a day. In the last 4 months, I've lost 35 pounds. I got 25 more to go, but the dog is helping me. That darn dog, walking the dog. So that's one of my accomplishments. I just want to brag a little bit. Don't mind me. So you got your skills, your strengths, your accomplishments. Now the next one, your interest. Or let's change it up and make it 2 things. What are you passionate about? What really, really gets you excited? What are you passionate about? And then what are you interested in that you've been looking at and saying, hey, that may be something for me? Or I want to look at that more because I may want to engage with that. So write those down. Now turn back to the sheet that's got the diagram, passion, best in the world, economic engine. Turn back to that sheet and then transfer some of those notes to there. What you are deeply passionate about, 1 or 2 things. What you can be the best in the world at. Take 1 or 2 of your skills and strengths, the ones that you really believe is your God-given gift. In other words, the good Lord gave us all. You ever heard that expression, he didn't make no junk? Well, he didn't make no junk. We're here to prove it. So there is something that's in your DNA that you are the best at. That when they look, oh, let's get her to do that, or let's get him to do that, because they know y'all are the best at that. What drives your resource engine? That can be any project, group, team, or market that's out there today. AmeriCorps is a perfect example. Y'all were part of AmeriCorps for this past year. You were able to use how many were able to use your skills, strengths, gifts in the AmeriCorps program? Raise your hand. Did most of y'all have a positive experience? Raise your hand. Did you learn something new? Raise your hand. Did you have a new challenge? All right, had some challenges out there. Well, guess what? Challenges is the only time we grow. Have you ever heard that expression, your comfort zone? Well, comfort zones are nice because they're comfortable. But ain't no growth ever occurred in a comfort zone. You do not begin to grow until you are willing to take an action to move outside your comfort zone, because as a good friend of mine says, the juice is on the other side. So get comfortable with being uncomfortable. because it's part of what we do. And all of y'all probably have a story or two or three about a challenge that you had to meet head on. You overcame it, and you grew through the experience. So we talk about the unique you. We talked about three things, your skill, or four things: skills, strengths, passions, interests. And we're going to do an exercise on that in the next piece of this. But look at this for a minute. Discovering your wow. And what is your wow? Your wow is a combination of all these things that make you unique and different. Your skills, strengths, talents, there's nobody in the world that's got the same skills, strengths, talents you do. There's some that probably are close, that are doing something similar that you're doing, but no one has the same accomplishments, the same experiences, or the same God-given gifts. Also, you hold on to your own values and beliefs and goals that you've had through your family or through your growing up years, and you're still developing values and beliefs and goals. You have your own variety of interests, you have your own motivators, and you have your own passions. And that's a good thing. You can tell I'm Italian. Passion's everything. Gotta be passionate. Your dreams, your faith, your culture, where you grew up, your environment, your friends, your family. No one has the same friends and family and culture that you have. Your job, your career, your business, your personality. Everybody got a different personality. Anybody here ever done the Myers-Briggs test thingy? Okay, I would encourage each of y'all to do that. Okay, that will help you define your path. You can go online to Myers-Briggs, or there's another one called Kersey and Bates, and I'll have all this information available to y'all after this is over, because I know we're going to be able to do what this is that you're going through right now is normally a 5-week program that's an hour a day that I put people through in groups of 10 or 20, helping people discover their ideal job or define themselves in 5 weeks to find their ideal job. What I've done today is I just pulled out the good stuff for y'all. Okay? So y'all are going to get the meat right here. So you've got all of these things that make you up. It makes you unique. It makes you wow. Or when somebody sees you or meets you and starts talking to you, they can see the fire in your eyes or the way you talk. And they know that you've got passion, that you're excited, that something gets you excited. So here's another look at it, just a little differently. The top was passion, what you love. The bottom left is what you're good at. The bottom right is what pays well. And you'll see, and in the middle is the sweet spot, the pound, the win. And this is Jim Collins' version of the hedgehog, and it's called his hedgehog model. And the reason why it's called the hedgehog is it's the story of the fox and the hedgehog. The fox knows all kind of things to do, and the fox is hungry and wants to eat the hedgehog. And the hedgehog comes out of his little hole every morning, runs around, and the fox tries to go jump on the hedgehog to eat it. And all the hedgehog does is does one thing really good. It balls up into a ball. That darn fox gets frustrated because it can't do nothing with that balled up ball of fur, that hedgehog. So the hedgehog, the principle of the hedgehog or the model is, if you can do one thing right and exceptionally well, you can win. And so that's what this model is built on, is that it takes more than just passion or what you love to be successful. You heard the thing about starving artists. You may love to play the guitar, but will anybody pay you to do it? Yeah, somebody may, but chances are they won't. If you're an artist and you like to paint, love it. Somebody pay you to do it? Possibly. If you're passionate about it and you got a dream. But that's the starving artist syndrome. What you love and what you're good at, happy but poor. Happy, nothing wrong with being happy. Okay, with my kids, all I wish for is that my kids can pay their bills and they can be happy. Everything else is gravy, okay? So the bottom one, if you're good at something and it pays well, you're rich but poor. I spent many years doing that. When I became an engineer, between you and me, I hated it. I didn't like being an engineer. I don't like sitting at the desk and pouring through formulas and doing detailed work. So what did I do? I worked my buns off so I could become the supervisor or the manager. And then I got happy. Why? Because that was my calling. That was my destiny. I love people, and I love working with people, and I love nurturing people. So I went from that transition. I was trained in a skill set because everybody told me to be an engineer because I'm good in math and science. Well, I kind of like it, and it paid good in the corporate world, but I wasn't truly happy. I mean, I was married. I had to make money. My wife kept getting pregnant. So we needed lots of money. So after being an engineer, did engineering for about 25 years. Went from South Carolina came up here to Raleigh, actually 34 years ago now. And went with a computer company as an engineering manager, worked with them for about 13 years. And then in the mid-90s, everything went offshore. Our company closed down. My job the last 3 years was flying around the country selling off all the buildings, raising money to pay off the debt. So my wife and I looked at each other and said, hey, what are we going to do? We loved Raleigh. We loved North Carolina. We came up here from South Carolina. Hey, anybody from South Carolina? All right. Anybody from Georgia, Alabama? All right, okay. Most y'all around North Carolina here, from North Carolina? All right, okay. And y'all are probably from, if we went around, you're probably from a lot of different places in the U.S., but we'll stick with that. The other piece of that was, my wife and I looked at each other and said, we don't want to move. I just lost my job. Well, I had a house payment, 3 car payments, 3 college tuition payments. I didn't have time to mess around. I had to keep making money. The company that took my job away, they gave me, I've been with them 13 years, they gave me 13 weeks of severance. That was my timeline. That's how much time I had to start doing something to make money. So what I did, I went out and hired two of my best friends that were career coaches, career counselors. And actually, you're going to hear John O'Connor later today, who's a personal friend and is in that same line of work. I just went to both these people, one man, one woman, that I had a lot of respect for, and I just wrote them each a check. And I said, hey, here's a check, and I'm going to go out and do things to try to create a new career life for myself, but I need somebody in my corner to tell me if I'm getting off base or not. So I hired them to help me, and they did. So within 13 months, I had doubled my corporate salary, and life was pretty good. And I didn't do it by myself. I did it because I had a wife that supported me, and I had a lot of friends that were willing to help me. And that's the same boat I think y'all are in here, is look around and rely on your friends for feedback and to help move you forward. Discovering your wow. The 2 most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. That was written by Mark Twain. How many of y'all think you know your why? Know why you're here? Why did the good Lord put you on this earth? What's your purpose? What's your mission? Well, some folks go through their whole lives and they don't know what their purpose is or their mission, but we're gonna get to it today. Y'all are gonna have the benefit of doing this. There's a guy, how many people have heard of Simon Sinek? Simon Sinek did a TED Talk. How many people have heard of TED Talks? Okay, all right. TED is probably the most phenomenal, one of the best phenomena that's happened in our modern age. If you haven't ever seen a TED Talk, Google it in, TED. There's a gentleman by the name of Simon Sinek. And you Google in the most popular TED Talks of all time, and Simon Sinek rates up top there. And Simon Sinek, he's got the number 3 most popular TED Talk ever. And he's got 32 million views. And he talks about getting to your why. In other words, if people meet you, lots of folks will ask you, what do you do? That's what's on the outside. Well, I'm an accountant, I'm an insurance guy, I work with homeless, whatever it is, what you do. But what you do does not totally define you. That's what people see on the outside. So what you do, a lot of people can do what you do. How you do it is a little bit unique, and that helps define you somewhat, your uniqueness of how you do what you do. But the real core, the real strength, and what most people really want to know is, why do you do what you do? What's your why? What's your reason? Why do you do what you do? And Simon Sinek created this, and he calls it the golden circle, and I encourage each of y'all to go on YouTube, go on Google in YouTube, Google in the name Simon Sinek, and you'll find he's got a 17-minute talk that can help change your life or give you a new perspective. When I was sitting down with the woman who was my career counselor, she asked me the first time we sat down, she asked me a couple important questions. I'm going to ask them to you right now. And I'm going to ask you to take out your green card. And I want you to write on the top of that green card, answer that first question. If you died today, what do you want your tombstone to say? If you died today, what do you want your tombstone to say? In other words, if I'm the guy, if I'm your family member that's got to portray your legacy, what do you want that to say? If you've got something, there's a few more green cards going around if you don't have one. If you died today, what do you want your tombstone to say? Now that ought to give you, is most everybody able to come up with something? Raise your hand if you can come up with something. Okay. So that's a tough question, isn't it? Maybe one we don't want to answer. Heck, nobody wants to die. I had one guy in class one day, he yelled at, when I asked that question, he yelled at, what mine's going to say is, I told you I was sick. Just cracked me up. Number 2 is, if money was not important, what would you be doing? If money was not an issue with you, what would you be doing? How would you be spending your time in your life? Those are the 2 things I want you to put on that green card. If you haven't come up with an answer right now, I want you to spend some time developing that, because these are 2 very important things for you, for who you are, who you want to be, who you want to become. And you may have some ideas of what you would be doing. On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you? How many people believe they're 10s? Pretty happy. How many are 7, 8, 9s? Okay, all right. How many are 4, 5, 6s? So. How many people are lower than that, feel like you're going through some stuff or have some stuff you're going through? Happiness is important. In fact, happiness is not a bad measure of how you should live your life. So after writing those 3 things down, that's on your green card. I also want you to take out your red card. And on your red card, I want you to write on the top, THP, across the top of the red card. Anybody have an idea what THP stands for? Take home pay. That's as you hear any idea that resonates with you or you think that you can use, I want you to write it down there. And my goal or my mission in being here today is hopefully you'll get at least one good thing, but hopefully you'll get at least 3 things that can be a source of inspiration or action for you in moving yourself forward. Okay, using your well, let's create something. Okay, now's the time we're going to get interactive. Oh, there's that big word again. Uh-oh, I got to talk to somebody. Okay, what I'm going to need you to do is, y'all are each at tables. I need for each of you to pick a partner who's someone that's probably next to you, because we're going to do an exercise. Okay, so each of y'all choose one person. Pick a person. Pick a person. If you don't, okay. In other words, you need a partner for this. So partner up. If you're sitting at a table that has an odd number of people, get up and move. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Very good. Okay. Is everybody partnered up pretty much? If you're not, you can do a 3. I prefer 2 of y'all get together, but you can do a 3 if you have to, okay? Okay, get back to your sheet. Get back to this Discover Your Wow sheet. What I want you to do, let me have your attention just for one more minute. With your partner, share with them what your skills, interests, accomplishments, and passions are, and find out their name, write their name down where it says partner, and find out what their skills, strengths, accomplishments, and interests are. Because what you're going to do, we're going to spend about 5-10 minutes and let y'all come up with a business or a venture or something that y'all could agree on that y'all would love to try together. Okay, is everybody clear on what the mission is? Okay, y'all have at it. If you have any questions, just ask. But just have at it. Shit. How am I doing on time? Going okay? Okay, let's take one more minute, getting to wrap it up, and we'll get a summary. One more minute. Okay. Let's get on board again here. Wrap it up. Okay, in the groups, by show of hands, let me see how many groups we had. Either select a spokesperson or the person with the first name with the lowest letter in the alphabet be your spokesperson. One or the other. How many groups do we have out there? Spokespersons, raise your hand. Okay. All right. Okay, you can put your hands down. Thank you. How many people were able to do this? How many people brainstormed ideas? Most of y'all? A couple of y'all just talked about what you're going to have for lunch or what you did last night. Have some cerveza. I don't know. Quit. How many people were able to take the idea, brainstorm some ideas, and take it down to one idea? Raise your hand. Okay. Awesome. Would anyone like to share their idea? Their team? Who's brave? Okay, yes. Please stand up, say your name.
So I'm Ann-Louise Wolf.
Okay, Ann-Louise.
As a whole table.
Okay.
And
Excellent.
We're artists, part of Artist Board. And so we're all artists at this table.
Ah,
All of us.
okay.
So we decided that we wanted to create an after-school program that would focus on skills like pre-literacy, critical thinking, creative process, and literacy, leadership, responsibility, and intrapersonal skills that would be all ages, pre-K through adults. And we'd split them into different age groups, but then have interactions between the age groups. And we'd have cycles. So that would align with the school year. So probably quarters, 9-week quarters.
Okay.
We give them a topic. So like the Amazon, go. They have to come up with the story that they wanted to create, write the content, create a performance, rehearse the performance, and then present the performance at the end and have reflection afterwards. And then the next cycle would begin.
Excellent. Love it. Let's give her a hand. And I love the creativity of just joining in and having the whole table do the thing. That was very cool. Very, very good. Excellent. Anyone else have an idea at their table? You wouldn't mind sharing? Okay. Yeah, I know some of y'all came up with $1 million ideas and y'all just keeping them. Y'all just keeping them. Was it pretty clear? Did everybody get some benefit or learn something through this exercise? Raise your hand if you learned something. Anybody have any observations? Any general observations about doing this? what I observed up here was everybody was engaged. Y'all were going back and forth, interacting and talking, and so it looked like there was a lot of vibrant, great conversations going on. So hopefully you learned something. And does anybody have a takeaway from the exercise? Is that something you've done before? Have you ever done brainstorming sessions before? They're great creative ways to get the juices flowing. And it gets back a little bit to your why. And as she was talking, I felt some emotion come up inside of me to the point where it almost made me want to cry. That's how strong that emotion was. And for those of y'all that are looking for your why, when you go home tonight, you get in a quiet place, take out a piece of paper. And on the top of that paper, write the words, "Why am I here?" And just start writing. The first thing that comes to your mind, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, and just keep writing. And after a few minutes, you'll have a lot of ideas there. But if you want to find your why, when you get to the one that makes you cry, that's what you're about. That's your why. Okay? So do that. Take a few minutes. Take a little time. And do that. Do that for yourself. You're not doing this for anybody else. You're doing it for you, for where you're going to take your gifts in the future. Okay, let's move on. Using your wow and your why, you'll find out that magic begins to happen. You'll have three things. Three of my favorite things is called 3 P's, the purpose, passion, and perseverance to get things done. Purpose. When you have purpose, you have a sense of vision. You have a sense of clarity, your mission. You are clear on where you're going and what you're about. Have you ever seen a person that is on a mission or they have a purpose? They are single-minded, bound, determined, focused to accomplish something, and you either join them or you move over. That's the only choice, right? And that's a lot to do with leadership. And I think that's the positions a lot of y'all are put in each day when y'all are going out on your missions with taking the miracle or message to the street or the people that you have to take it to or carry it to. Purpose doesn't do any good unless you have passion behind it. That's your why, that's your excitement. That's, hey, why am I doing this? You got to have there's got to be a reason. And passion will spark that flame. And once you have passion behind your purpose, then that's how perseverance will take place. There's over 6 trillion cells in the brain. Neuroscientists have figured out that we have over 6 million thoughts a day. 6 million thoughts a day. I said, God, when I read that, I said, no wonder I go home tired. But guess what? Here's the miracle about us and our minds and our brains and how it works. You know, your brain can make a decision in 6 seconds. You can literally change your life in 6 seconds. That's powerful. That's powerful. I'll make a confession right now. I'm 69 years old, like I told you. I was a chain smoker for 50 years. 50 years. I was smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day. 3 of my Toastmasters. My wife, she hated it, but that's just who I was. That's what I did. Nasty, nasty, nasty. I can say that now. But 3 Toastmasters friends of mine said, Dan, you're looking like you're getting short of breath. When one person, I'm old, set in my ways. I don't change much, but when one person tells me something, I say, yeah. When 3 people tell me, I say, I better start paying attention. So what happened on September 8th, 2.5 years ago, I went over to a workshop in RTP, and it was a workshop on commitment. And there were about 100 people in the room. And the leader started talking about commitment and how you can, if you make commitment and you have purpose and you have passion, you have clarity, you can change the outcome in your life. And about halfway through her talk or discussion about commitment, she invited people to come up front that were willing to make a commitment. And something inside of me just nudged me. So I got up, So I walked up there with 2 other people. And I said, my name's Dan, and I've been a chain smoker for 50 years, and I'm going to quit. Everybody clapped. Yeah. That was exciting, exhilarating. And, oh, man, all these people are behind me. Well, after that, I went and sat down. Reality set in. I said, Dan, that was just D-U-M-B, stupid. You don't know how to do that. You don't really want to do that. You just kind of know you need to. So I went home that night. When I went in the kitchen, I said, hey, babe, I went to this workshop tonight on commitment, and I'm going to quit smoking. She just looked me in the eyes. She says, no, you're not. She says, you're too old. She says, you're too set in your ways. You're too lazy. You don't have the self-discipline. And since I've been married for 40-something years, I said, yes, dear. So I just turned around, walked out the room, went down, turned on the TV, fell asleep. But the next day when I woke up, something inside of me was still burning. And my number 2 son, Kevin, came over to my house, and I told him what I'd done. I said, Kev, man, I done got up in front of a room of 86 people and told them I'm quitting smoking, and I don't know how the heck to do that. But Kevin just smiled at me, and he said, hey, he walks over to the bookshelf, pulls out a book, and he said, Dad, don't you remember me giving this to you? And the book was Alan Carr's Easy Ways to Quit Smoking. I had totally forgotten he gave it to me. I just gave it to me. He actually described it. He says, hey, Dad, please read this because we all want you around for a few more years. Love, Kev. Happy Father's Day. That just touched me. So at the right place at the right time, my why was big enough. I didn't have the how, but if your why is big enough, the how will show up. So after he left that night, I took that book and I read just the first 10 pages. I didn't even read the whole book. I just read the first 10 pages. It says, quitting smoking is easy, quitting smoking is easy, quitting smoking is easy. I knew it wasn't easy. I can get on Google. Google says cigarette smoking is as addictive as cocaine and heroin. But the thought of it being easy. So I said, okay, if I smoke 3 packs a day, I'm going to go out. I'm just going to, tomorrow morning when I go out to buy my cigarettes, when I go to the store, I'm just going to buy 2 packs. So I went to CVS where I get my cigarettes. I just bought 2 packs. Do you ever notice how at all the drugstores the cigarettes are up front? That's because they know us smokers can't make it all the way to the back. Just too big a walk. So I bought 2 packs, did that for a week. It was hard, but I made it through it. The next week I cut down to 1 pack. That was harder, but it was that last pack that I knew was going to be torture. So I really got the jitters. But on day 17, I said, I'm going to just try not to buy. When I go out tomorrow morning, I'm not going to buy any. So I didn't buy any. I said, I'm going to see if I can make it till noon. I made it till noon. I said, that's cool. I'm going to see if I can make it at 5 o'clock. I made it at 5 o'clock. I said, all right. I said, I'm going to go home not buy any. See if I can make it all night. I said, that night I went to bed early. But I made it. When I woke up the next morning, I told myself, Dan, you just quit smoking for a day. You can quit for the rest of your life. That was September 27th, 2.5 years ago. That's the last time I touched one. Okay? So that's not to talk to you about, that's not to say, hey, look at me, how great I am. That's to share with you an idea about when you make a decision to do something and you take action on it, you can change your outcome. You can transform your life, whatever it is. Believe it, it's true. Henry Ford was the guy that said, if you believe you can, you can. If you believe you can't, you can't. It's whatever you believe. So you get the choice. So we're getting close on time here, so I'm going to ask, we're going to do something special here. I'm going to ask you to, the secret behind success is having the right attitude and the right mindset. Use your creative thinking, like this table did over there. They took their relationship to a new level. So attitude and mindset, creative thinking, relationships are 3 secrets or keys that a lot of entrepreneurs use, or a lot of successful leaders use in what they're trying to do. So your next step, when you leave here today, you're going to be all by yourself. You might have got excited a little bit here and there, but you have to do what Stephen Covey said. You have to begin with the end in mind. So that's about what we're going to do. And so on your green sheet, put down DREAM, D-R-E-A-M. Now I'm going to ask you to trust me for a minute. After you write the word, I'm going to ask you all to close your eyes. Close your eyes. Dump everything out of your brain. Take a deep breath. Take 2 deep breaths. And I want you to think about the most important thing in your life. And when you have, keep your eyes closed, when you have that idea, that most important thing, gently raise your hand. The most important thing in your life. Okay. Now, keeping your eyes closed, take that thought and turn it into an image or a picture. What does that look like? What does that look like for you? And when you have that, raise your hand. A picture or image about what the most important thing in your life looks like. Okay. You open your eyes. Thank you. Now, you have an idea of what the most important thing in your life is. So you have a sense of what you're about, spirit and purpose-wise. And you have in your right hand and your left hand your skills and your strengths. So what I want you to do is when you wake up each morning, start each morning with intention. The intention that you're going to move your life forward in a new and exciting way. Take that idea of the most important thing in your life when you wake up and promise yourself that you're going to move yourself one step forward closer to your purpose of what's important to you. So have the dream. Walt Disney said, if you can dream it, you can do it. If your goals don't scare you, they aren't big enough. So once you have that dream, you take that dream and you translate it into a goal. And once you have that goal, you translate it into a plan. Play to your strengths, your skills, and your talents. Play to your interests, your passion. Be sensitive to what's going on around you, what is needed, what can you offer. Plan your work and work your plan. Identify 3 steps. Put in your mind 3 steps. You're going to have a break, and you're going to be able to think about, take a little break, talk to your folks, and do 3 things for me. Plan, nourish your mind, your body, and your spirit. Each day, do something for your body. Do an exercise, walk the dog, get physically fit. Do something for your body to make yourself more healthy. Nourish your mind. Feed it with something positive. Read a book. Watch something inspiring. Watch something that's going to educate you to move your skill set forward. And then meditate. Spend 2 to 3 minutes meditating. You got to feed that spirit also. It's something that's important for you. So I want to thank you. Enjoy your day. And can I get a wow from you? Wow! Yeah. Turn that off.
All right, we're going to have a break, but before we do, I want to make sure you know a couple of things. First of all, if you would like to have your resume be critiqued in the last session, I'm going to give you an email address to email your resume to. It's john@careerproinc, all together, careerproinc.com. So john@careerproinc.com. So if you want to have your resume critiqued in front of everybody so that you get the feedback, email John. I want to make sure it's clear though. All right, so we're going to have a break, and at 10 o'clock, we're going to start, we're going to have a drawing for one of the bags that are filled with various gifts. So if you'll be back in the room by 10. Thank you.
All right.
Quick question. The high school you went to, did it happen to be Cardinal Newman?
That was it.
My best friend in college, he lives in Columbia, and he went to Cardinal Newman
Oh,
as
really?
well.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
We were the first class